I saw the path. Like there's a blueprint to where like you grew up Christian or whatever the case may be. Um, and then after you grew up Christian, then you find out that like the things that your pastor or preacher is telling you, your parents tell you, isn't necessarily true. So then you become angry. And so most people then kind of turn into Hebrew Israelite, like adjacent or Muslim adjacent 5%ers, in nations of gods and earth type Christian adjacent rhetoric, because you've been indoctrinated to a degree. You grew up a certain way. So you're not at the point of abandoning your beliefs, but you know you want something different. And so then you have some people that say, you know what, I'm going to do away with it altogether. And then they hop off in their spiritual community. This is when they get the crystals and the tarot cards and doing the things. And then people get stuck along the way. People find the Hebrew Israelite, whatever, and it's like, bro, it's just Christianity and blackface. You didn't really go too far from where you started, if we keeping it a buck, right?
Just put a
Same
little
thing,
spin on it.
right? Just a little spin on it. Same thing with trading in the Bible for the Quran. It's you just, it's like you weren't ready to step all the way. Do what works. I'm in no means am I saying like everybody is like in a state of arrested development when it comes to spirituality. However, I am saying I've witnessed too many times people find something that it's not even that resonates with them, it's something that they like, and then they stay there. You know what I'm saying? It's something they like. They can use it as a tool to shame other people, engage their own level of holiness with the next group of people type time, right? And then you have some people who, I got some homeboys or whatever. So I consider myself to be an atheist, but not in the traditional sense. That's a conversation for a whole nother day. Cause we'll be here all night trying to explain to where I am on my spiritual journey. However, I know people who are like, none of that shit works for me. All of it's performative, and then they become atheists or agnostic, and they stop there. They don't question anything. They don't care about the divine side of life. They like none of the things, and they stop there. And that's a very boring place to be, because I was there too once upon a time. But it's like there's still, even then, there's something on the other side of that. So I say that to say the rigidity, right, of being like, still being like acknowledging that you just literally being tethered to old beliefs because you're not ready to really shake free, and you're not really to be really ready to be responsible for your own spirituality, for your own spirit, your own soul, your own salvation. You're not ready to take on that responsibility yet, so you want to stay tethered to traditions, ideologies, and rhetoric that give you a scapegoat, calling it what it is. And then the need to feel superior, right? If you talk about being better than other people, or whatever the case may be, or you think by virtue of the religion you ascribe to or the practices you ascribe to that you're better than other people, that's also performance. It's performance. You know what I'm saying? What it say, if your healing needs someone else to stay broken, it's not healing, it's ego. And that's real. That's real.
Absolutely. I look at spiritual growth the same way I look at almost biological growth, right? Like there are stages of development in order for you to grow into spiritual maturity, right? But I think at the very base level, and this is how I wrote my last book, Remembering Your Sacred Self. At a base level, you got to remember who you are in your spirit, right? Who you came here as, right? On a soul level, right? In terms of executing a spiritual function, right? We came here with a purpose. And so when you start talking about the purpose of evil, or who created sin or evil or those things, right? This is the third dimension. This is a
Yeah.
learning plane. And the
Yeah.
only way you learn is with juxtaposition, right? You know joy and peace because you've experienced sorrow, right? You understand love because you've experienced some form of hate, right? These extreme opposites are the things that give us this understanding around how we make our choices, right? But at a base level, you got to remember who you are, right? What about this experience did I come back for? What
Mm-hmm.
purpose did I come to achieve? What did I come to learn, right? And for me, this is where the convergence of religion and spirituality come together, right? Because and I'm gonna share this book, Parable of the Sower, because she has a scripture in here that says our destiny is amongst the stars. But if our destiny is amongst the stars, then what does that make us, right?
Yeah.
And if
Celestial beings.
come on, and if as the Bible tells us, we are to be salt and light, right? You are to be light. There's a development of how light forms, right? At some point, we got to start learning, learning these things that help make
Mm-hmm.
up our understanding, and that's what helps us grow. So if you can at least remember what it is you're here for, then as you begin to experience life, the things that you learn get
Mm-hmm.
framed in that purpose, and they help you continue to grow
For
spiritually.
sure.
You meet people on your path that will help expand you spiritually, whether that's help lead you into other resources and information you didn't even know you needed to study,
Yeah.
sharing things that actually feed your soul. Like, damn, that resonated with me, you know. Even experiences that you can't explain, right? Or what we call supernatural occurrences,
Mm-hmm.
or things that are beyond our normal conception, right? All of these things help us begin to grow and develop, but we got to be the ones that's invested in that. And
Absolutely.
so that spiritual curiosity that you mentioned, I feel like that's like our toddlership, right? So we
Yeah.
come here already knowing, but
Yeah.
in our knowing, we get exposed to things, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I said it really mirrors biological development, almost like a baby. Baby come here as a blank slate. They come here with a soul.
Yep.
Also, they're
I
not
literally got a book called The Blank Slate. Oh, it's over here somewhere. But yeah, I literally got one that talks about like child development, but it's from a perspective of like humanism, spirituality, and things like that. So yeah.
exactly. So that's what I say. You start there, and then that curiosity got to kick in, right? Around exploring the things that are around you to figure out how I integrate what I have in me into what's around me, right? And as you begin to go into that exploration and experimentation, life will begin to unfold where
Period.
those answers and the curiosity are provided. And for me, as long as you keep searching and keep seeking and keep following the curiosity to where it leads you, that is a form of development.
Period.
We ain't gotta have all the answers, y'all. We can't experiment our way forward. That's a thing if we
Yeah.
let it be.